In this video, we're going to learn how to find the sum of the first n natural numbers using recursion in Python. So the natural numbers are the numbers 1, 2, 3, and so on. So the first 5 natural numbers would be 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. The sum of these numbers would be 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 is equal to 15. Now to solve this problem using recursion, we'll create a function that calls itself. We call that a recursive function. We'll call the function sum, and the function will have a parameter n, where n is the number of first natural numbers to sum. Now a recursive function typically works by solving part of the problem to be solved, and then calling itself with a smaller remaining portion of the same problem to be solved. If we look at this problem here, what we have is a chain of additions that needs to occur. We could have each call to sum perform one of these additions, and then call itself to perform the remaining additions. So if the function is called with, let's say 5 here, what we could do is return 5 plus, and then call sum again with 4. To generalize that, we could have return n plus sum when it's called with n minus 1. So what this will do is return, let's say 5 plus sum when it's called with 4. Then that call to sum is going to return 4 plus sum when it's called with 3, and so on. Now eventually we do need the recursion to stop. We want the recursion to stop once n is 1, because that's the last natural number. So we'll have here, if n is equal to 1, then the function is just going to return 1. We call this case here, where the function calls itself, the recursive case or the recursive step. We call this case here, where the function stops calling itself, the base case or the base step. Let's test this function out. Down here, we'll call sum and we'll pass it 5. And then we'll output the return value using print. If we save the program and try it out, we'll get here 15. So the function appears to be working. We could trace what's going on with each function call. So when the function is called with 5 as an argument, we know that's going to result in returning n plus sum when it's called with n minus 1, because n is not yet 1. So we're going to return, in this case, 5 plus sum when it's called with 4. Now that call to sum is going to result in returning 4 plus sum when it's called with 3. Because again, n is not yet 1, so we're going to return n, which is 4, plus sum when it's called with n minus 1. And this is going to continue. Next we'll have sum when it's called with 3 is going to return 3 plus sum when it's called with 2. And then sum when it's called with 2 is going to return 2 plus sum when it's called with 1. Now this one here is special, because when sum is called with 1 as an argument, we're just going to return 1. So sum when it's called with 1 is just going to return 1. Now what we can do is go backwards and see the result of all these function calls returning. So when this function call returns 1 here, this here is going to become 1. And then this function call is going to return 2 plus 1, which is 3. Then this call here is going to become 3. And we'll have this function call here returning 3 plus 3 is 6. Then this here is going to take on the value 6 from the return value. And we'll have this function call returning 4 plus 6, which is 10. Then the return value of this function call is going to be 10. And finally, we're going to return 5 plus 10 is 15. And that's how we get the correct result there. So this is how we can find the sum of the first n natural numbers using recursion with Python. Check out portfoliocourses.com, where we'll help you build a portfolio that will impress employers.